Okay, greetings and welcome back. We'll have to call this part two. My iPad decided to inform me that it was full of storage, and so I had to delete some old videos. But here we are. I was getting into forgiveness, and I explained how I felt about forgiveness and how I currently feel that forgiveness is not for others. Forgiveness is for self. And what I mean by that is, and my meaning is very different, I don't believe that anyone should be forgiven. The forgiveness is for you to do for yourself. So, for example, someone lies to you, anyone, child, sibling, significant other, coworker, you name it, someone lies to you. And they're known, they know that you now know that they lied, and they've come to you for some sort of reconciliation and say, oh, forgive me, I didn't mean to, or whatever their excuse may be. Will you forgive me? Please forgive me. That is what I believe that you don't do. Because forgiveness, in my personal opinion, for my life experiences, means that that person perceives you to be gullible enough, desiring to continue a relationship with them enough to give them a blank slate, a blank pass on the wrong that they knowingly chose to do in your face or behind your back, and that you're going to give them an opportunity to do better. But if they do it wrong again, if you already forgave them, then it's going to be fine, because they can just throw it up in your face where you forgave me before, why aren't you forgiving me now? Or as it says in some religious texts, which I do not ascribe to, forgive 70 times 7. No, 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 no. Forgiveness is for self. Acceptance is what you do for others. I accept that you chose to lie to me. I accept that you chose to swindle me. I accept that you stole money from me. I accept that you went behind my back and did XYZ 1, 2, 3. And I said deck. So maybe a deck is significant for someone. Maybe right now you're sitting on your deck or thinking about heading to your deck. But I accept what you did, and I will catalog it. I will keep it in my memory as an awareness of what you are capable of and what you might also choose to do in the future. I'm not the determining factor of if you would choose to commit that behavior again or not. You are. I'm just simply going to accept that's what you have done and move on. If I'm still here, I'm here. If I choose to leave, I leave. Forgiveness for self to me means what I'm choosing to do is, because of the type of person that I am, I'm not coming out here into the world intentionally doing wrong to anyone. I don't want any amount of negative karma, negative juju, negative spirits, negative energy, no vibrational pings. I don't want anything negative that could be put out to end up coming back around to me, because that's sure enough exactly what's going to do and happen. Forgiveness for me means if I do something accidentally, unintentionally, I don't check myself. I don't breathe, count down, choose to stay calm before I react, even if it's silently a reaction in my head, like, ooh, I wish I could ooh to you right now, girl, with a coworker situation at work or whatever. Forgiveness is for me like, forgive yourself. You should not have thought that. You could have kept yourself from having that thought. By you having that thought, you are opening up the airways and the frequencies for others to have similar thoughts like that towards you. Forgive yourself. That's what I perceive forgiveness as. Then we have message, and this is the one I accidentally flipped over, the only one. It says communication records, call records, instant messaging. I'm looking forward to whatever this message is. I did actually, before hopping on here, receive a text message from a coworker who was telling me about their trip out of the country. Super excited to hear about that and ask them more questions about their experience. So I did just have communication with a coworker. However, and by coworker, of course, I mean a teacher. But I do hope that this communication could mean something else for me in the future. some type of communication that I want to receive. Then we have here drunkard is the next card. So alcoholism, addiction, avoidance, and abuse. And the addiction card actually came out in yesterday's reading that I did. So drunkard, I have not consumed alcohol to the point of being drunk in I want to say 2 years. Very proud of that. My last experience with being under the influence was horrible, absolutely horrible. Was taken advantage of. Not going to spell the details of all of it. No, was not sexually assaulted, but was taken advantage of. That's all I'm going to say about that. But alcoholism is something I said on yesterday, is a spirit that for the family I'm told that I come from, that they heavily and deeply engage in and in addictions of whatever type, whether it be to sex, to money, to smoking cigarettes, tobacco, black and mild wines, weed, whatever have you. And breaking free from those people, those spirits, those ties is something I'm very thankful for and thankful of. One of the reasons why I don't particularly care to go back to my home state too much. All right, promise. I connect with promise, that I'm promising myself to put myself in the optimum healthful state. I am promising myself companionship and being a better companion to my four-legged furry friend and doing right by her the most first. I am making an oath, and maybe some of you are doing this as well, to myself, that I am not accepting anything that I see a red warning flag from. As soon as that warning flag shows up, whether it be yellow, orange, red, green, purple, blue, gray, white, black, brown, I don't care what color the warning flag is, I am committed to my contract, which is, if you see it, we showed it to you for a reason, let it go. Going back to this forgiveness, there's no need to try to give another chance. You showed me. And I accept that same type of mindset back towards myself. And emotional bond, I am truly committed to healthy emotional bonds. If it is not healthy, no. It's at a distance. It's limited. It still may be there, like communication with family members, but it is limited. There are boundaries now. And so I'm promising myself healthy boundaries with food, healthy boundaries with sleep, healthy boundaries with coworkers and work, healthy boundaries with family, even healthy boundaries, that was hard to come out with my four-legged friends. So in the townhouse that I am in, there's a sliding door partition to the front part and the back part of the upstairs. And on one side is the kitchen, the dining room, the living room, the patio, the laundry area. And on the back side is the one bedroom master and the closet. I guess you could call it the linen closet and the master bathroom. My four-legged companion is not allowed past that partition into the bathroom, bedroom area. There's my space and then there's her space. One in part because it's carpet and I don't want her hair on the carpet on this side. I want to feel comfortable with when I sweep and when I mop. And I have a set of slippers for this side of the house, that it is truly, when I steam the floors and I mop the floors and I clean everything, it's truly sanitized, that I can feel comfortable getting out of the bed barefoot, walking across the floor if I want to barefoot, which I have a phobia of walking barefoot. But if I wanted to, and I've had sometimes, I can feel safe enough to do that. Okay, next card here, we have the Magician. Yay, I love this. As a Virgo, I connect with a few tarot cards very strongly besides the Hermit, and the Magician is one of them. And this, maybe some of us resonate with, is I have all the tools in my arsenal and I can create. I have plenty examples in the past of needing an outcome and believing for it and speaking it into existence and working towards that outcome, and it showed up. So I know now with whatever project, I have my pentacle, I have enough resources to make it happen, whatever the resource is. I have my wand, I have my action, my physical ability to work towards that. I have my sword, my intellect to be able to think and draft out plans and follow them through and make adjustments. And I have my cup, I have my passion, I have my desire, I have my feelings and my sense of calm and rational application of energy in order to put the attention out there, wait after acting upon it, and receive whatever the universe, the divine guides are choosing to bliss me, or some would say bless me with. So I'm very thankful for seeing the magician. That means it is happening. What I am working for, working towards, it does manifest with the magician. There's no such thing as using your tools and it's not there. It is there. And I love the infinity sign. Next we have here, ooh, emptiness. What's up with these reversals? Is this deck in the reverse? If this card is also in the reverse, yes. Okay, so I've done this a couple times, and I have thought that the card was, or the deck was in the upright, and it was in the reverse. And I love here that it says new love and sharing, but I'm going to fix this. Oops, let me put them in two different places. I'm going to shuffle this one again because this happened last night as well. And I want to give myself a fair chance. If it's going to come out in the reverse, I'll let it come out in the reverse. All right, here we go. Had to do that for myself. All right, this card, Innocence. So this is the Page of Cups. I don't know why cups have been coming out so much for me lately, cups and wands. But here we go. It says, approach life with a sense of wonder. Stay open to imaginative insights and ideas. And the upright dreamer, artistry, and playfulness. Yes, so I have a project on the side that I am happily, slowly but surely working on. There are a lot of things that need to be done to complete this project, but I have goals. I have the time allotted and the resources that I have invested in to make this come to fruition. So synchronicities I see out here, the I for innocence, we have the M for the magician, and the 1 on this card. So 1 is here as well. I believe there was a P out here on the table, but I chose maybe not to take that P. The D for drunkard. All right, we have M for message, and I know that the M came out twice. It's on the other side, yes, of this N. And then we have forgiveness. There is not an F. So DMI, like TMI. All right, 15, honoring your energy. So this bottom row, if this was a lot of past and present, this is where I am, honoring the truth that there is brown soil and seeds have been sown. And as there's experience with water and with wind and with sunlight, the deeper I go with spiritual work, with shadow work, with introspection, with forgiveness of self, the higher up the energetic forces outside of me pull me, work with me to get closer to the sun, to get closer to whatever the next realm of enlightenment and achievement and accomplishments are. And some of you may feel like you're in this energy right now of this 15, which is you're honoring your energy. You're setting up those boundaries that were previously stated. Yes, these are my commitments. I will commit to them. No, these are things I am not doing. And it is perfectly okay for you to change your mind. One of my favorite sayings I used to say all the time is the most significant constant in life, because there are many, is change. People are capable of changing. You are capable of changing. And so honoring your energy and how it wants to in certain areas change and in certain areas stay the same, that's on you, boo-boo. And, I support you in your highest path. Next card is torment. So anxiety, bondage, depression, and troubled. Yes, this is very much so what I am at many times in the past and working presently to not engage in, have been feeling as torment. This anxiety of, well, who's going to love me? Who will my friends be? Because I have no friends. When will I have the funds to have a car? When will I not be bound to this place in this state that the only reason why I was here was for work, and then because of my ex-husband, and now there are no friends here, and there is no husband, there's no child, there's no reason to be here other than there's a job within walking distance that helps me get myself out of debt, which sometimes leads to depression. I wish I had people I could trust to talk to. I wish I could go get my nails and my feet done, a manicure and pedicure, go get my eyebrows done, or even have someone else wash my hair besides me washing my hair, or, go treat myself to go to a nice restaurant and get something to eat or buy a new outfit. Like, that depression has been there in the past, feeling troubled about, man, am I really putting my life on pause just to dig myself out of this financial hole? Because I can go do those things. I could go get a car. I could have superficial acquaintances or friends who I just launch into expressing shared interests of whatever things we have in common about. I could be on dating apps on the dating scene, which that is not me. And I personally am a person who does not feel comfortable on dating apps. Have never had one, have never made an account, will never. There is some torment that is being kept at bay. I will confess that. And maybe some of you are having some things that you feel tormented about. Next card we have here is athlete, seeker of vitality, exercise, life, strength, and speed. Definitely in my current energy personally. So I mentioned in a past reading that I have gone on a weight loss journey this past winter. I did put on quite a bit of weight, quite a bit, and it showed to the point where some coworkers thought I was pregnant. And how do I say this carefully? Weight is a sensitive topic, a sensitive area for me because of my upbringing. Maybe this is an opportunity for story time. And I'll get back to that story. But I have been exercising. I made a commitment at the top of the summer, once the school year ended, that I was going to take 1, maybe 2 weeks off and just relax, catch my breath, just sleep in till whatever time I need to sleep into for my body to catch up on some much needed Z's. And boy, did I, those first 2 weeks of the summer. And then after that, I said, it's full throttle. You were walking every day, 5 to 7 miles or more. You are exercising in the gym, in the clubhouse. And with the workout equipment that you invested in, you're also going to work out at home. And I have stayed committed to that at least 4 days, sometimes I think 3 each week, working out, sticking with my meal plan of vegetables and fruit. I experienced a breakout and I realized that things like peanut butter and oatmeal, um, and other types of heavy carbs that I was engaging with, they were causing like breakouts. And so when I cut those out, the breakouts subsided significantly. So focusing on life, fasting, I mentioned in a previous video that I've been doing that. Weight training, specifically strength training, lifting weights. I'm now up to 15 pounds with the dumbbells. I started with 5 pounds at the top of the summer with exercising, but exercise is important to me. Being here and being healthy is super important to me. I call it unclogging my ovaries because I don't know where I am. I have seen symptoms of PCOS that my body has exuded and have noted that they were not always here. And let me touch on this for a second. Because I have not had the blood work done or seen a doctor to confirm that these are actual symptoms of PCOS. But for the outward symptoms that I have experienced and noticed as of the last 3 years, I personally think the spiritual connection of these symptoms manifesting in women, in particular Black women, is a lack of safety. When we don't feel safe, when we have been in masculine energy and performing masculine and feminine energy outputs, being the ones who do the majority of the driving, the grocery shopping, the putting up of the groceries, the meal prepping, the even sometimes taking the trash out. I don't know if I already said laundry, putting laundry up, cleaning the house, and let's just go over the rooms of the house, the entryway, the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the bathrooms, the bedrooms, the hallways, making sure light bulbs are replaced, taking the car for oil changes, and going to work 9 to 5 and dealing with other people's personalities, energies, demons, and spirits as well. When a woman deals with all of the home and work, and the masculine companion for the majority of those years is simply fed, although he might make a meal or two on a wild blue moon, purple moon occasion, sits on the sofa, watches his sports, watches his news, plays his video games, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever have you, or plays the games on the computers, or is always on the phone. And that life of just them go to work, come home, engage maybe with children if you have them. I don't, but I'm just stating a scenario for a little while, and then sit down on the couch until it's time to eat, and maybe sometimes even eat on the couch or the recliner chair, and then shower, get ready for bed, and expect some type of physical intimacy from her. When she's in all those roles, wearing all those shoes for so long, and I did that for, of the 9 years we were together, 7 of the 9 years, the testosterone, I think, has an opportunity to start overproducing in her body. It's working so much. Her always keeping her head on a swivel when she's out late at night because she's got to go to the grocery store or take kids to whatever practice or pick them up, whatever it is. When she is wearing so many hats, I think that is when these outward symptoms, problematic expressions of excessive testosterone show up in women. And now that makes me forget my original story. I think I remember. Oh, the struggle with weight. So in the family that I grew up in, majority of the women are very thin. And when I say very thin, I mean somewhere between, regardless of their height, balancing their weight in between 110, 128, at the max, 130, 135. And I have always been, that I know growing up, heavier than that, always solid. My average weight in high school was 145. So I was called big, considering I'm between 5 feet 4 inches, 5 feet 5 inches tall. And confirmation to tell the story and move on, that car outside alarm. And so weight was always something that people talked about, but the particular story that pops to my mind was the one from middle school. So in middle school, I had the opportunity for the first time ever to be engaged in organized sports, and I wanted to try out for the cheerleading squad, and I did, and I made the cheerleading team. And I remember the day that the coach was issuing uniforms. I was so excited. The uniform colors were green and gold and white. And so the uniforms we were wearing that year are bright yellow, gorgeous gold, and they had the pleats at the bottom that went all the way around, and it was white and green and yellow. Oh, it was just so gorgeous. And I thought they were so pretty. And I was excited. And it was time for us to go try on our skirts, try on our tops with our Spanx and our shoes and our socks. Everything had arrived from the shipment, and come back and let coach see, so that if we needed a different size skirt or a different size top, that was fine. So girls are going back and forth from, the coach's office or our area of getting our things to the locker room, bathroom to change. And I remember I was coming back with mine on, had my ponytail. I was so excited. And on my way back down the hallway, some of the girls who were getting, like, they were changing for a smaller size, I remember hearing that, paused and specifically paused me and stated, "Oh, I'm so glad that you made it on the cheerleading squad, because every cheerleading squad needs an ugly big girl so that all the guys at other schools and at our school will be so grateful that if we look their way, a pretty girl on a cheerleading squad is interested or attracted to them, versus them having to think about getting with the other ugly girl. Like, you're going to make us essentially look prettier because you're ugly and you're heavier set, you're bigger, you're fatter than we are." Oh, how that moment changed my life. And so I was immediately crushed, because they, of course, skipped off, ran off, giggling, hee hee ha ha, kikiing. And I was hurt. I don't know how. I can still feel remnants of it now, but my heart went from the top of my chest to below the pit of my stomach to my root chakra, and I felt extremely vulnerable. I felt hurt. I was sad, but I had to hide it. But I know my countenance had fallen. Right after that is when I decided, when I said right after that, I mean Virgo young me brainstorming, thinking, how can I solve this and not be the heavy, fat, big girl, be the ugly and the fat big girl on the cheerleading squad. And my idea was to, and again, I do not condone this, I'm just sharing a past experience, was to starve myself, was to stop eating. And so what I specifically did was, at home, my mom, what she would always prepare, or what we had at that time period for breakfast, was oatmeal. It was oatmeal and our multivitamin, like the Flintstone multivitamin. And you were expected to eat your oatmeal. We stayed close enough to the middle school that my sister and I, my sibling and I, we would walk to the middle school, and then we would walk home. And sometimes, due to my mom needing to get up a little bit early to make sure there was no traffic on the way to work, she would leave the house before we would. And so during this time, if she was up while we were supposed to be eating breakfast, the little lie that I chose to tell, or that I told, was, "Oh, I'm going to eat a big breakfast at the school. We get free breakfast. So I'm not going to eat breakfast at home. We can save this for you. You can have it, Mom. I don't know if you're eating breakfast, but you can have it. I'll eat breakfast at the school. And I have friends who get free lunch too, and free breakfast, and they don't want theirs. And they always are asking people who want it. And I'm always willing to take it, because they don't want to throw it away, and I don't want them to throw it away either." And again, in the beginning, this made a lot of sense because I was heavier set. So I'm saying that I'm eating more food. It's fine. So I would not eat at home, not eat the oatmeal, but I was still expected to chew the Flintstone, because I'm going to have my free breakfast and someone else's breakfast at school. And then for lunch, I'm going to have my lunch and somebody else's lunch. So that let her, I guess, for that time period, not worry so much. And then at school, I would, of course, not get breakfast. And then at lunchtime, I would not get lunch, or I would get lunch, and then while teachers were not looking, I would give what other people wanted away, and then I would throw it away. Usually would crack my foam tray in half, so nobody would know it was on my plate. Started choosing to wear baggier and baggier clothes. So like bigger clothes that I had in my closet that I didn't want to wear. I started wearing those things so it would hide my body. And also, it was winter time, fall into winter. So this little cover up of mine was working for me because of wearing a big coat all the time. I did this. I honestly, I can't tell you for how long. I don't remember, but it was for a while. I dropped a lot of weight. And there was one day, because I was eating sometimes, of course, the only meal I was having at this time was dinner because I was in front of my family at that point. So I had to eat. But even still, I was eating less because I would say I had a lot for lunch, and then we had cheerleading practice, and I kept some of my lunch, like the fruit or whatever, or the crackers or the Crustable sandwich. I kept those and I had those. So, that's why I'm not wanting to eat a lot. But there was one day at lunch, bless her soul, where I had my head down. I was going through it. I was hurting bad. I was so hungry, but I didn't want to eat because I had to get to the point where one day I could look in the mirror and I wasn't the big ugly girl anymore. And this counselor, it wasn't even a teacher, counselor came over to me and said, "Hey, how are you? Have you had a chance to eat yet? I haven't seen a tray in front of you since I walked in here. Do you want to go up and get a tray? Is your stomach hurting?" And I didn't respond. I didn't lift my head up. And she said, "Hey, it's okay if I get you an apple. An apple is healthy, it's good for you. If I get you an apple, would that be okay? Would you be willing to eat an apple?" And I nodded my head, and she got an apple and she brought it over to me. And she was like, "Hey, I think I know what's been going on." She's like, "I think you haven't been eating. And I think that you're really hungry and you haven't had a full meal in a long time, and maybe you want to eat something, but you're scared. Are you scared it's going to make you gain weight or something?" And I nodded my head, and she slowly started rubbing my back and saying other things that were very affirming. And when I lifted my head to take a bite of the apple, I poured out and started crying. She took me out of the cafeteria and we had a good talk. And of course, she had to inform my mother. And that's when, again, the back and forth lie that I had concocted and wearing the baggy clothes and it covering up things in the wintertime and her work schedule and all that stuff, everything came out. And though I still stayed on the cheerleading squad, guess what? I was not the big girl anymore, though. What I also started experiencing around this time, this is a whole separate story, is for the first time ever, boys being attracted to me. "Oh, you're actually pretty. Oh, you're not the fat, ugly girl that everybody said you were in the cheerleading squad. Like, you're pretty. You actually look nice. You look okay." And interestingly enough, the girls were becoming a little bit more accepting of me. So that horrible experience, and again, a athlete, is a pillar memory in my past. As far as, I hate bullying. It's something I do not condone, I do not tolerate, and I know what it feels like to torment yourself in order to achieve a goal, in order for others to feel comfortable around you. That was not okay for me to do, but that was where I was at life. And I don't know what anybody could get out of that experience, but if you have children, stay vigilant with being aware of your children. I know anytime a student comes to me, particularly my female students, and they share anything close to that past experience, I am quick to remember the moment that that person was for me. And of course, reach out to the counselors and reach out to their parents and let them know I am a mandatory reporter as a teacher. So, as a mandatory reporter, I have to say something when you tell me things along certain subject lines because they need help, they need the support. And I'm very thankful to her for that, because there could have been some kidney failure. I don't know what else could have happened, child. But then here we go, empty. So, all of these cards are along a similar line. this empty says clean, purify, and practice on it. Empty again, actually, empty is twice. And here's the E. So right now, my life is not empty, but I am emptying out the things that should not be. I'm cleaning and purifying myself, keeping my home clean. I am practicing the daily habits of home cleanliness, swiffering the floor, wiping off countertops, making sure no dirty dishes in the sink, clean clothes, clean body. I am practicing the lifestyle that needs to be maintained so that there's no excess of clutter to have on my mind to think about. It's next on my to-do list to do. The only thing that there is filling up my cup. But I won't lie, there have been moments where I have felt empty due to a lack of companionship, friendship, more positive work relationships, or just having, work relationships where myself and someone else can say, hey, let's go out after this teacher work day and let's get lunch together. That's not a place where I'm at either, also due to finances. So fighting off the emptiness to the point where it feels like a torment, and more so thinking of the emptiness as an opportunity to purify spirit and purify mind and purify body and keep working towards the goal. And oh my gosh, I know I flipped it over, but look what came out in this reading, 9 Hermit card. So 1 and 9, 10. If you're a Virgo and you resonate with any of this, yes, I resonate with the Hermit card. I would say to name out the tarot cards that I connect or feel the most affinity to, it's definitely the Hermit card. I'm completely comfortable with it. The Magician card, the Queen of Swords. I would say, especially at a season in my life, the season of my life going through the divorce, Queen of Swords and I definitely felt very one. And if I were to give it just one more other card, I would say the Strength card. Next, we have, oh, wow, look at this. 9 of Pentacles, which represents luxury. So you've built a life of comfort, beauty, and security. Savor your achievements. And the upright represents comfort, abundance, and self-sufficiency. I love how God, source, the divine guides have allowed this reading to end with luxury. So beginning with forgiveness and ending with luxury. I have a very, speaking it into existence, luxurious home, a very luxurious lifestyle. The luxury is not in name brand things. I own not one name brand thing. I've never been a name brand type of person, also. Not a name brand pair of shoes, purse, clothes, you name it. No, those things are not of my essence. They're not my style. They're not my soul. I'm more of the, we're uniform colors, very simple earth tones, the khakis, the browns, the olive greens, the dark greens, the navy blues, the creams, the blacks, the grays. That's more my comfort, low key style. And I'm very thankful for the comforts that I do have. Again, there was a time where it was just a mattress on the floor without a pillow. I'm thankful I have a bed frame and pillow and these tarot cards and oracle cards. Yeah, I'm really grateful. And H, because the Hermit came out. All right, so exciting. So hopefully me sharing a bit about my past experiences can connect with some of you, some things to be aware of. Again, be careful of people in your life and their lifestyle choices that they're making because of the bullying, the negative self-talk, or the negative talk that they've received from others. Be mindful of any tendencies, any red line ties to addictions that you come from, the environment that you come from, that's what they engage in, and severing those if that's what you want to do. Commit to making a promise to yourself and following through on it. Again, for whatever it is you need to manifest, you have all of the resources to do that. And stay innocent as it pertains to love. Be ready to give a fresh love, not a guilt love, to whoever is coming in next. Being mindful that tormenting ourselves is in the now perpetuating more of the emotions that we don't want to experience. What are we here to do is to honor our energy, how far we have come, and knowing that there are always elements that are participating in moving us further along outside of our own actions. Okay. I love you very much for those of you who are ready and needing and wanting to receive it. And I pray you have a great rest of your sun cycle until the next time.